who did it, unfortunately.
Well, this one, Robert Shilander on the left here. He has Delver of Secrets, Snapcaster Mage, and 3 Phantasmal Image, alongside 4 Treacherous Pit Dweller as his primary threats. He's blue-black only, no white.
Treacherous Pit Dweller.
Treacherous Pit Dweller.
That takes some...
We've got, obviously, we have to have the full 4 Vapor Snags, obviously.
I love what else he does because of this Treacherous Pit Dweller.
We have Tragic Slips, Dismembers, and Peel.
Don't slip on that. Gosh. Okay. Swamp from Robert Shilander.
Yep. Now, Black-Blue Zombies starts with Darkslick Shores, a good land for zombies as it can sometimes struggle to get that blue mana. And Diregraph Goal will give him the early lead. I think I have to pick Shilander as kind of a dog in this matchup just because Treacherous Pit Dweller is not very good against this zombie deck.
We'll have to find out. Look, what's that in play? Boom.
That's a Treacherous Pit Dweller.
That's right.
I'm sure Phillip is actually just like, so that...
Okay, wait a second.
Diagram.
Wait a second. If it dies, what?
He's running through that one in his head. Now, I think he can probably attack with impunity here, to be honest. Unless, is that a Gets verdict? Never mind. Now I know we can attack with impunity. We're going to give ourselves a sweet 5-4 on turn 2.
What an amazing... Boom. Boom. Okay. I like that. He puts it over to the physical graveyard and then brings it back.
I also like the hesitancy of Phillip in the guest where he's like, is this really how this is going to work?
Is this a trap?
I just get a 5-4 on turn... Okay, I guess I'll run with it. And that's a woe to Robert here, but he does have lots of ways to get his Pit Dweller back if he really needs it. So
did he just pass? I think he might have.
He has a Snapcaster Mage, a Delver in his hand, a Peel from Reality. I don't think we're passing. We're playing that Delver, okay.
There we go.
If we had another blue mana, we'd be able to peel our guy back here. Because we don't, it's going to be open to removal from Phillip, and that's going to be pretty bad for us. I think if I were in Robert's situation, I might be more inclined to just try and Snapcaster as an Ashcoat Bear on the Diregraph Ghoul and stem some of the bleeding here, rather than make my Delver so vulnerable when it's the card I'm going to probably want to combo with that Peel. I'm not sure.
Does it even get to be called an Ashcoat Bear if it's a sorcery speed one?
Well, no, he could play it as an Ashcoat Bear during the
Fair enough. Good point.
Fume Spitter is going to remove Delver from the path. It is possible that Phillip will not do it immediately and hope to get a chump. Yes, he will. Phillip is no stranger to zombies, having finals and opened with one, and he also top 16 at Invitational, the Baltimore Invitational.
I was wondering why I remembered Phillip Fortner's name. Yep. That's it. Thank you very much, Glenn.
So, our director would like everyone to be sure to remember Phillip commonly wears a large Russian hat. I don't believe we have the Russian hat this time. I'm not sure. No? That's a no. Sorry, guys. I'm sure that Phillip didn't mean to let you down.
I don't think we're all let down.
Robert's thinking over this attack. He may be thinking about whether there's any incentive to chump Phantasmal Image. I don't know what that's going to copy, strangely enough. Is it copying Treacherous Pit Dweller?
It
looks like it did.
It's actually super safe to copy that Pit Dweller.
You get a 4/3, and when it comes back,
it's not a Treacherous Pit Dweller anymore. We've got a 3-2 here, sadly, for Robert on the D.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty aggressive attack here, I'm not going to lie. Interesting that Phillip decided the Fume Spitter's offensive potential was worth letting this guy flip.
And pass.
Yeah, Robert's
back to Phillip.
I think his plan is going to be to block and peel to get his Pit Dweller back. I'm not sure how successful that's going to wind up being. It's a Gravecrawler from Phillip, another beater.
I don't know if he can afford to peel, honestly, because I think he wants his... I think he wants the insect to kill something.
I don't know. I don't think he can beat the Pit Dweller that's on the board.
Doesn't he have a Vapor Snag, though?
Maybe he might be able to do that, too. His mana problems are definitely cropping up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and if we look at his list...
He is a straight 6/6.
Yeah, an even split on his mana. 50% black, 50% blue.
And he has a lot of double black. With the Pit Dwellers, Liliana of the Veil is in the deck. Dismember will often require black mana.
And here we're going to see 1 mana. Snag.
Snag, okay.
Might not have been a terrible thing to put a block down somewhere first, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Phillip's thinking that one over. But I like my 5/4 so very, very much. I don't think there's going to be anything he can do about it.
What is he thinking about doing?
He's removing the counter.
Why is he doing that?
Is he going to Guess Verdict himself?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
A Tragic Slip his Pit Dweller. Okay. That is an interesting choice. I think I like it okay.
Yeah, it goes to Robert's graveyard.
Comes back on his side. Comes back on Phillip's side. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
And Tragic Slip from Robert. Oh, well, this one's going to come back as an... He is not triggering his Undying, is he?
That is a treacherous Pit Dweller, is it not?
It is a treacherous Pit Dweller for sure. Another Tragic Slip on Diregraph Pool. We missed that trigger. I am not 100%. Oh, now we're... Oh, he did it. Maybe he did it in response to, so it couldn't become a diagram.
Ah, okay.
I think he may have paused Phillip. Okay.
Okay, got it.
I think I'd be more scared about it being an Insectile Aberration anyway, to be honest, but... Okay. We're a little unclear, hard to tell from the hand motions, but I believe we know what's happened now, and...
Okay.
We successfully staved off that assault. Tragic Slip doing a real roll, and Phantasmal Image is indeed now an Insectile Aberration. With a +1/+1 counter on it. So somehow Robert played like 2 removal spells and Phillip's board got better. This is weird.
well, and to be fair though, Robert was also able to turn that from a very heavy damage turn into one in which he, I don't think, lost
anything.
anything.
No, he was a point of life.
And he also made Phillip use 2 cards and resources.
I like Phillip's outside the box play of that removal. I think that was very interesting and an excellent way to capitalize because his opponent's mana screwed. He has additional removal spells. Might as well spend some of them. Now
Snapcaster, which is going to make a Tragic Slip. Yep.
I imagine we're going to block, let our Snapcaster die, and then slip, or are we going to just slip the image?
Just going to slip the image. The image is very fragile. Just look at it wrong and it'll die.
I assume our plan is going to be to peel back that Pit Dweller on one of these upcoming turns then.
I think we're going to see some blocking regardless.
Yeah. Well.
Some kind.
Interesting choice. I guess we want to reuse that Snapcaster Mage trigger more than have the 3/2 flyer in this position. Now, if Phillip just doesn't have another threat... Oh, he has the worst threat!
Oh, boy. That one is a potent little monster. Another land for Phillip Fortner. Robert hopes he can do the same thing.
Man, this is actually just a really interesting matchup to commentate. Just the removal spells, how they play against all of these creatures with these strange interactions. Well, now I think we're in trouble. We needed a land there.
And there's a pass.
There's a pass. Our only real play is block appeal.
Now appeal is not terrible. I mean, it's not great. 3 life. So we block, let's say, the Geralf's Messenger, peel the Treacherous and the Snapcaster, and there we're seeing the beginning of it. Peel, boom, boom. And if you're Phillip, you're like, what is going on over there? Peel from reality.
To his credit, Phillip does not pick up and read Peel from reality.
I think he has played enough limited.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, boy.
That guy's big.
Wow. I don't know if there's anything Robert can draw now.
I think we only have... nothing.
I mean, if he had a land, he could dismember and...
he'd need another one.
And then, like, Vapor Snag or something, and then have a 1 life be where he's at. And I think we see a Ponder.
Yep. I think it's pretty safe to say this one's wrapped.
Yeah. My favorite Ponder there.
Oh, okay. I was getting confused. I was checking Phillip's list because I knew I'd read his removal spells at first for ways to kill a Pit Dweller, and I didn't see Slip, but he'd put it under his creatures.
Now Robert sitting 3 life, 3 mana open.
Attack.
Scoop.
Rats, he remembered.
Game 1 handshake.
Game 1 handshake from the defeated player. That was a good game, yeah. I've gotten the Game 1 handshake, and almost always it's from someone who was like, man, that was a good game. And that was an interesting one, so I can definitely agree with that.
Okay.
Let's look first at the
Robert.
Pit Dweller deck.
Well, I mean, I think I like Fettergeist in this.
I like Fettergeist.
It's a fairly large body. It can block most things. That should be just fine. Liliana. You know, I don't think Liliana is that great against a deck that might have a Gravecrawler going, has the, various ways with Messenger to have stuff
Even
come
just
back.
a Mortar Pod sitting on the board
Yeah.
is pretty... I think we're cutting the ones we have in our main deck.
I think it's going to be Fettergeist, Tragic Slip, and then I think there might be a question about... And also End Image. And I think there might be a question of whether you want to use Appetite for Brains. No, that costs 4. That's not creatures.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was thinking it was the other discard. My bad.
Right.
No, it's just those 3. I'd say Tragic, Fettergeist, Phantasmal Image. What else were you looking at?
I'm interested in those Torpor Orbs.
Really?
Torpor Orb is obviously a very awkward card in Robert's deck because he has Snapcaster Mages of his own, but it does turn off your Treacherous Pit Dwellers to make them good. And you also get to turn off Drops Messenger, which he does not have a lot of great solutions to.
I mean, well, you turn off the life loss.
I think he can afford to trade. His guys are bigger after all.
That is a heavy
contend.
investment in, like, using a card to potentially slightly blunt that card. I'm not 100% sure of that. I mean, I can see the rationale, though.
I think I'm not sure if he's going to do it. I don't think that's the matchup that it's in here for, to be totally honest. Obviously,
definitely
against Master of the Fells deck.
Yeah, any of the decks, they're like the Nyapod, any of that stuff.
But I think that if he can make sure Treacherous Pit Dweller is just the cowboy of the board, basically, bigger than everybody else, then it might be enough to combo with the Torpor Orb and shut off that direct damage.
If he were to do that, I wouldn't have a problem with him running 1, but a second one I think would be just too much of an investment. On the other side of the world, the Zombie Pod list, I actually do like the Lilianas from the Zombie Pod list because as the deck that is likely to be the larger aggressor, one of the things we can expect is that Robert is not going to want to attack the Liliana. And so Liliana can do a lot more damage with regards to just the natural nature of a Planeswalker in an aggressive deck.
What do you think of these Cemetery Reapers? Countering those Treacherous Pit Dwellers? Got a little hate?
Oh, that is funny. That is funny.
I don't think we'll be seeing the Surgical Extractions coming, although it is theoretically possible.
Even against Snapcaster, I don't think that's where we're going.
Metamorph, however.
Metamorph seems pretty awesome. Like, because if you have your own Undying to copy, but you also have Pit Dweller to copy, and you don't have to worry about the negative effects of Pit Dweller.
Assuming Pit Dweller is not alone on the board.
Well, even if it is, though, like, I believe you're not required to choose one.
You're right, actually. I do remember Phantasmal Image is a May. You can't have it just come back as a 1/1.
So that would be just fine, right?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Phillip Fortner on the right.
I don't know if Metamorph is worded the exact same way, though, to be totally honest.
We'll have to check.
Yeah, that's actually, now that I think about it, I know they have slightly different wording, so we're going to go ahead and look that one up for you guys.
Boing.
If you're at home and already Googling it, that's fine.
Or gathering
we're going to check
whatever your preferred method is.
You have Gatherer in your search bar? Man,
I do have Gatherer in my search bar.
You're a machine. All right.
Okay.
You may have seen Metamorph enter the battlefield. Okay, so that's a May as well.
Yeah, once you put Gatherer in your search bar, life becomes awesomer.
Life does become awesomer. I am literally doing this as soon as I get back to my computer.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan. I'm joined by Glenn Jones. Who? Glenn Jones.
Down here in the bottom.
Whoa.
I didn't even see it.
That is strange.
That's subtle. He slid it in there.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I couldn't know.
So it is round 7. We just saw Phillip Fortner with Zombie Pod take down this blue-black Delver from Robert Shilander. Robert Shilander is you believe currently X and 1, so 5 and 1 at this point.
These guys each have 6 wins.
Okay. Or these guys each have 6 wins?
5 wins.
5 wins.
Sorry.
So yeah, 5 and 1 with this blue-black Delver list. Now, a shocking decision, I think, for a lot of people to see this black base build. The black for Tragic Slip, Dismember, Go for the Throat, Liliana, Treacherous Pit Dweller, and then a few sideboard cards, more Liliana, more Tragic Slip, and Appetite for Brains.
Well, a little bit more of the same. I do really like the black spells. The Pit Dweller himself is an interesting choice. I don't think it's going to serve him well in this matchup. I can see it being kind of powerful in a lot of other ones, especially against decks like Delver that lack true removal and rely on bounce spells. Having such a cheap fatty is going to really rule the board.
Huge. I mean, it's a really huge creature.
Massive creature. Even against like Delver, if you're ramming it into a Restoration Angel and giving them the guy, like turning on your bounce spells to be actually getting him back, I don't think that's that bad. Restoration Angel is one of the hardest creatures to answer.
Yeah.
So
it's just so little mana.
Yeah, so cheap. So cheap.
Now, obviously, Dismember is a card that is played by several different styles of Delver, several popular builds, so it's not without cost. But, I mean, oftentimes it can be one of those things that really demands they have the Dismember. And then even if they do, you still have your Peel from Realities, you have your, you have your Vapor Snags.
Amusingly, I like Dismember a little better in decks that have some black in them than the decks that have none at all, because you get the option to play it for one a lot, but you can also downsize it, and it's so good against Restoration Angel right now.
I mean, I definitely agree. I definitely had in an old Dungrove Elder list that I was using to some success last year, one swamp that I could search for to make my Dismembers less painful.
And it looks like we've got Robert taking a mulligan, I think. It's possible it was his mana base coming back to haunt him again. The 50-50 mana base was also the downfall of the blue-red Delver deck that we discussed before, early on in Innistrad.
The early version of those Delver lists, one of the reasons I didn't like them is that they were trying to play a opening of Delver or Stromkirk Noble, and the mana just wasn't really working.
Nope.
And I kind of wonder right now, with the printing of Cavern of Souls, if that is a more reasonable combination of cards to run.
It's possible. I know it was one of the decks I went back to when I first saw that card, because to be honest, the only thing I want to do in my life is play Shrine of Burning Rage with Desperate Ravings and Snapcaster Mage. That's just like
that
awesome
is funny.
for me.
I mean, you
love
like
those.
red-blue in Legacy, so
I like the colors in general. I am known to enjoy lighting people on fire, but I want my card drawing too. You know, I'm passionate about it. Swamp from Robert again on turn 1. Phillip with the Darkslick Shores. Oh, the luck always has the Darkslick Shores. Diagraph Ghoul. I'm sure that's what Robert's thinking. I was just trying to get into the player's
funny.
head there.
That is really, really funny.
Phillip's got a lot of options in his hand. He already has an image available. Sending that Diagraph Ghoul in, predictably lands. Mortar Pod. An excellent Darth Vader germ token from Phillip Fortner. Belittling the Dark Lord of the Sith.
I didn't realize that it was a belittler. That's awesome.
The Dark Lord of the Sith is not a 0/0. I'm just saying. Drown Catacomb, man. Robert missed a land drop.
Wow,
he is
Robert,
at 2,180
that is
life,
a lot of life.
That's good. I'd probably give up a land drop for Diagraph Ghoul attacks, and Giralf's Messenger makes it 16. I'm sorry, I think we're a little lower than that, aren't we? I think we're at 14 now. Pretty sure we missed a communique there, but we should be 14-20. Technically 13-20 with Mortar Pod. Technically way lower with a lot of stuff. Robert peels Jataxian Probe. Pays 2 life because he doesn't have blue mana. And we see multiple Cemetery Reapers. Man, he's got those Treacherous Pit Dwellers on lock. Image, Guest Verdict. I think we're seeing a Merfolk game plan in this one.
I mean, it looks pretty Merfolky.
Yeah.
Well, how many Lords do you got? 3? 2? Was it 2?
He has 2 Reapers
plus
and
a
an
fake,
Image.
a fake.
Yeah,
There we
Lord.
go.
Although I think Image is probably the Messenger most of the time. Lord or no Lord.
I mean, you can just see how aggressive this zombie deck is able to come out.
Yeah, it's going to run Robert right over because he stumbled on mana here.
And, you know, you have to think when you're someone... Oh, boy. There's +2 damage right now.
Yep.
You have to think when you're playing against a deck like Zombies how important it is to make sure that you have a stable mana base for your opening hand. Because I just don't know what it is that he can have here to be able to... Is it going to go -1 just to... That's on the germ?
I think he's just trying to turn on his other slip
Yeah.
to kill the Reaper. That's my guess. If he doesn't have another slip, this is really awkward. That was really awkward. I had the right read on that situation.
I don't know what could possibly happen here to make the game be okay.
Yeah, we're dead on board about 100 different ways. Approximately 100. It's more like ballpark 87, I'd say.
A Phantasmal Image and a Tragic Slip would keep him alive?
Alive, but
not in good shape.
Not in a good shape. We don't have ways to gain life in our deck, and Giralf's Messenger by itself basically represents lethal damage because of that Mortar Pod, so You copy Reaper, I think? Is that what he indicated?
I think so.
I mean, it has to come into play untapped, so. And Guess Verdict
And there we are.
with 2 mana available to Mortar Pod.
Even if he has
Just
the
the fix.
the slip, there's nothing he can slip and survive. And the hand is
That was
extended.
Anticlimactic concluding game. Robert keeps, I believe he mulliganed to 6 there, and he had to keep 6 without a blue source. Chanced it, didn't work out.
You know, I am a big fan